And this starts a new journey for us. We're going to start doing this on a regular basis, and we might even be able to do this while we're in Egypt coming up, because I so want you to be on this amazing journey with us. And the reason that I do this or anything else is I truly recognize and realize we're all one. And anything that I have that can be of use to you, I would love for you to have. And I'd love for us all to remember how we belong together. And right now, I'm passionate about bringing ancient Egypt to the world and the ancient symbols and technologies that are there. Because as a researcher, as a doctor, as someone who understands the brain and our body, and someone who communicates with angels and sees them, and right now, one of my mentors is a 3,200-year-old person. I can't say an exact date because there weren't birth certificates stating, oh, this is how old. They teach me ancient ways and symbols and communicate in the most profound way. And those gifts that the education of medicine, the education of this ancient being, the education of my own life experience, to have had a near-death experience, multiple ones, and to see behind the veil, and then to be invited to do the most incredible things, like travel to Egypt, the being in med school in India, having the mentors that I have. I want to pay that forward. I want to make sure that wisdom serves you and the greatest us that we can create together. So ancient codes, ancient Egypt, ancient information is useful to us today because there have been periods of time on earth that there was great peace. And there was that great peace because our leaders were using their whole heart, their whole brain, and really knew how we belong to each other. They were educated from a young age in order to lead in a manner that served the entire community. So our great leaders of the ancient world had all their needs met from the time that they were a baby. And I love this this papyrus right here. And what I'm sharing there is a image of a baby in golden clothes, a gold baby being nursed by a woman, and men and women all around this baby and this woman supporting the baby. The baby is golden because it doesn't yet know its powers. It doesn't know all of its senses. It doesn't fully recognize yet because it is a potential. And the woman and the men and supporting this baby all are in colorful clothing, symbolizing so beautifully the special senses and the special dispositions that they have, and they're all united for the baby. And it's a beautiful story, and it's a beautiful gift to be able to understand symbols and language. But more importantly, the part that's so important to understand there is our leaders were given every tool in the past and supported in such a manner that they felt abundant. There was prosperity. They understood both the masculine and the feminine. They learned about the symbols, and there was no division or stress in their mind and in their brain. I'm reminded of the story of the Buddha when Siddhartha, He was given everything. And when he saw someone weeping, he had to understand that. And he could understand and develop a whole system of meditation, of connection, of compassion, of love, because he had been nourished his whole life and parts of his brain developed. And we've got today, what we're going to show are 3 particular symbols that we're going to go through. We're going to go through the ankh. We're going to go through Horus, the eye of Horus, and we're going to go through the flower of life. The reason that we're going through this is so that you can be with us on the journey as we're traveling. And when the symbols come up in images, you can understand for yourself and have the initiations and activations and understanding so that you can lead those in your life with great wisdom, and those keys, those codes, so that you can use them to develop the greatest happiness for your own life, to be able to contribute the highest vibration to others. And we're going to go through some videos. We're going to go through and remind you of what you actually are in your body and in those symbols. My story, many of you know already. I started being educated by my grandmother at age 3. I was slow to speak, and when I did speak, I started speaking in sentences, and I started speaking the language of energy, which made her want to protect me and also teach me more of the wisdom that she has had and knew. She taught me how to read palms. She taught me how to make elixirs to cleanse and heal the body. She also taught me so many words to repeat so that I have a great ability to retain information, because I learned that skill set of memorizing and connecting the outside body to the inside experiences and body as well. And hopefully at the end, we'll have time for questions and answers, or to be able to do readings, because as much as I can, I want to serve you guys and help you guys, because that helps me help humanity, help all those in the unseen world that are contributing to you be seen and received by you in order to help you. And so Greg is here. Hey, baby.
Hello.
Greg is going to help us do the Zoom. And so we're going to do a little bit of the next thing. Baby, go ahead and go to the next screen. And it is, let's see.
Okay, hold on. Screen share. And, oh no, hold on.
Awesome.
Just give us, hold on. Wait, okay. It's going to start. They're now, we're in mode. Yep.
So they can hear me and see the screen.
They can. Let's see here. I think I muted everybody. Oh, can we hear? Oh, there we go. There, now we have you on the line. Can you hear us?
Kara. I can hear you.
Okay, perfect.
Good.
So I'm going to mute you again, but we're going to go through the presentation. Okay, thank you, Kira.
Thank you. So glad you're here, and so glad you can hear us. So this is the ancient Egyptian codes for unlocking your potential. But there are, maybe we can go to the next screen. So we are going to talk about the ankh. Go ahead to the next screen.
It's the video.
Oh, okay. So this part of fully understanding there are so many ways for us to be activated and initiated. And in the image that I shared, the papyrus of the hieroglyph, the baby was receiving mother's milk. The mother was receiving the ankh. And in a few minutes after the video that I show you, I'm going to share with you quite extensively what the ankh represents and how it shows up for us in nature and how to use it to activate parts of yourself. Baby, go ahead to the video. Awesome. Yay, that was so extraordinary. That's made by my friend Jonathan Quinton, and he is so lovely for having taken and gone to Egypt, and he's made it a practice of his to study the golden key, the golden ratio, sacred geometry, and nature. And as you saw in that video, our DNA, everything around us has a beautiful reflection in nature within us. Everything is a ratio. And that is, the ancient Egyptians were the first civilization probably to practice the scientific arts. And the word chemistry is derived from the word alchemy, which is the ancient name for Egypt, Al-Kemet. And it's so important to understand everything in nature developed in mathematical proportions. Where the ancient Egyptians really excelled was medicine and applied mathematics. And large papyrus literature shows, as well as the walls and the temples, show that they were doing brain surgery. They were doing total healings, not just on humans, the animal world. Everything lived in harmony because they understood proportions, they understood mathematics, they understood the scientific arts and nature. What that video really shows is science, everything is connected. The scientific nature of everything in our bodies is a proportion. And when we get the proportions correct or in equilibrium, what happens for us is great awakenings, great skill sets, great things are awoken. And baby, the screen that we're looking at is the pineal gland, out of body experiences, no need for a body. That's the ankh, represents true freedom. The ankh represents hieroglyphs, and hieroglyphs means holy writing. An ankh is a 3D hieroglyph, eternal holy writing that represents the electrical magnetic field around us that symbolizes eternal life. And I can't wait to show you the next image, but I want to break down this image that we're looking at just a little bit. There is the right above the words, we are energy. Everything in your body, everything in the world is energy. And just like within us, when we get the proportions correct or in integrity, congruent within us, we get the field, the consciousness congruent out there as well in our environment. And those that are leading, those that have the greatest resources and power are the ones in the past that had all of this energy turned on. Thoughts, heart, emotion, fully understood that what happens to them happens to everyone to some degree that they're leading or has given them permission to lead. But those leaders, you as the leader, feelings of your heart affect consciousness. And there are particular symbols that represent this. And when the symbols are utilized with thought, heart, emotion, they make it possible for even more of your heart's electrical field or your magnetic field to be conducting energy all around you. This is why many kings, queens have symbols and representations, the crown, the things that they have that represents these ancient symbols in some shape or form. And I'm so excited for us to go to the next slide, and we'll talk more about the ankh. So here are symbols of this ancient ankh. Again, the ankh represents eternal life, represents the electromagnetic field that symbolizes eternal life. And so if you look at the images of the ancient Sumerians, the ancient Persians, the ancient Indians, Egyptians there, all of these images, and this image, I received this from Nassim Haramein. I believe Jamie Hanover made this image and brought all of these images together. And all of these images are representing an electromagnetic field that looks like the ankh. And in our next Zoom that we can do for you, I will show more of that and dive into more of that understanding so that you can really see the electrical field. Maybe go ahead to the next one. So there is measurable energy coming out from your heart. And if you change one atom in the fractal reality, then the whole hologram changes. And so when Gandhi said, be the change you wish to see in the world, or the video that we just watched with Jonathan Quinton, which really represented, and there's so many videos. Let's go ahead to the next one, baby. This right here, there are two hemispheres to your brain. Those two hemispheres, the left side is the analytical side, is the side that has language. The right side is the one that understands energy and understands symbols. Symbols, when we give them words, can often lose the meaning if we're stuck only on the word of the symbol. So let me say that again. If we label things too precisely and are not feeling the energy or the intent of it, if we're not listening with our left brain and our right brain, then parts of us are not initiated and activated. In our classes, in my classes, and in my Saturday morning group coaching, I will often show things like videos that shows what happens when we're under stress and how the two halves of our brain do not communicate, the left brain and the right brain. And the left brain will tell a lie, not knowing it's telling a lie. And the right brain goes along with it because the left, the language brain, the precise brain in our society and in our individual worlds has been given more attention and more development than the energy side of our brain. And again, everything is in balance. Everything is representative of our body on the outside. Everything on the outside, the hologram that we're all living in and experiencing, is energy for our inner body. And there are representations when you go deeper into each of the temples that you get to see parts of the brain represented, parts of the body. You will smell things that are not present because you're being initiated. You will hear sounds, you will see symbols, and the region of your brain that sees that is the pineal gland. It's the eye of Ra. It has been represented in the ancient Egyptian stories. It's been represented in many ancient cultures, just like the ankh was represented in so many cultures that were not communicating because the leaders of those and the wisdom keepers in those traditions knew how to use their whole brain. They knew how to use their whole body, their every part of them, to listen and to bring about true freedom for themselves and for the teachers and leaders and the people that they were educating and teaching. Today, we all have access to the internet. We all have the possibility of going viral, millions of people listening to us. And we all have the potential to help the billions of people and the billions of beings that exist live in harmony with each other. We really have the potential because there is no lack. There is an abundance. And if we can fully get everyone to live in that space, those that understand and are catching and with me on this journey, understanding that there is a region of your brain that can physically manipulate and move the energy of physical objects in our reality, the pineal gland, the eye of Ra, the third eye, using the electromagnetic field of our brain and of our heart to change consciousness in order for what the vision, the third eye, the vision eye is holding can happen in the world. So I'm going to say that another way. When you truly understand this and embody these symbols and embody this wisdom, and it becomes living within you, and it's true freedom, not because you want to manipulate others or gain something. That's one of the things. You have to be in integrity. It's in service of that consciousness. That's one of the reasons that all of this information was hidden for a long time, because the eternal life was taken, so to speak, from one of the beings that understood this tradition. So I'm going into a story now that is written on the ancient walls of Egypt, written in the temples, to explain why this information that was readily available to the priests and to the leaders was not available to everyone, because at one point the information was used to create disharmony, and it knocked everyone out of being able to remember the harmony. And when enough of us wake up and are carrying within ourselves a lit light body, an activated and initiated love body, and able to give, to co-create, to connect, to move consciousness for the greatest good of those that are counting on us. It's really quite beautiful, because your body and your mind's eye and your energy, your right brain, knows every time you were out of integrity, knows every time that you lied or did something that was less than the greatest good. And whether it was on purpose or accidental, your body registers as well. If it was the best you could do at the moment, your body has that registered as well. And as long as you do the service to yourself to clean up your energy, to make right with your own energy field, that's part of what the Eye of Ra represents. It's part of the process of initiating and using the ankh. When you really are able to see your own personal flaws, your own personal things as contributing to eternal life, and forgiveness comes in, and you do the initiations within yourself to really fully get back into integrity and to live within that integrity. That's where great power within your body for yourself, for the greatest good that you can contribute, begins to come back in. It's one of the things that we do on our trip in Egypt, in these sacred places. We release all of the energy from our energy body that wasn't congruent for what we are here to create. And it's such an extraordinary thing to get the eternal life, the representation, to be in the physical field of that, then to be and initiate and activate the left brain and the right brain and the psychic development of that. Baby, let's go ahead to the next. And how are we doing on time?
It is now 11:33.
11:33. I love that. 11:33. So we're going back to this field quite often, because when you really are able to use the ankh, your energy field, this field that you're producing that's connected to everyone else's field, that's connected to every celestial or every being that exists, tiny, small grain of sand, molecule, electron, quark, everything has this eternal life ankh in it. And you are a representation of that, and your brain, your ability to see not just the words and the physical matter, but the energy behind the physical matter. That's what the eye of Ra is. Let's go to the next one, baby. So this right here is such a beautiful representation of, again, that video that we watched with our dear friend Jonathan Quinton. Jonathan Quinton has an extraordinary story. He was a young man, New Zealand, wound up in Egypt at the same time that Jimmy Carter was in Egypt. And there were tanks all around, and these incredible tanks, army tanks. And he walked across the plateau, walked up to where you enter the Great Pyramid. And the way that Jonathan Quinton went in, the way that Jimmy Carter goes in, is the way that our group goes in to experience the energy of the Great Pyramid. It's in a small group, just us, at the ideal time for us to enter. That's when we have 2 hours in the chambers. Jonathan Quinton went in at the time that Jimmy Carter was going in, climbed into and their question to him was, "Who are you?" And he said, "Jonathan." That's what they asked as he was walking up. And they said, "Go ahead, go in." They didn't, his right brain, his left brain, his body, his ankh, eternal life, was admitting a frequency that allowed him to know this was the ideal time to go to the pyramid, to walk across, to go up, walk up. And when they asked the question, his mind's eye, his energy answered the question, and he entered the Great Chamber, the Great Pyramid, at the same time. Within the experience, and the stories that he's shared are quite extraordinary. The stories that I've heard from the group that traveled with Nassim Haramein, what I've learned from, and as being in the Great Chamber, of being there, there's no other activation like it. Our group last time, the times before, got readings within the chamber. We did the ceremony, we did the activation, we did the honoring of eternal life, of source, of Egypt, of each of our individual selves. In each of those temples, we did and honored the greatest good that could come from our presence being there. And when we got to the pyramids, all of the wisdom keepers for each of the people that came with us appeared. And those that asked afterwards were able to hear exactly from me and what the wisdom keepers' message was for them and the next steps in order to wake up and initiate and be who they were here to be. So everything is in proportion. You get yourself right. You clean up your energy field. You then start listening deeply for what you're here to create. And your mind's eye, your body, your energy field puts you in these places. Jonathan Quinton, being at the Great Pyramid at the time that he was there, also contributed to everyone that was there. Maybe go forward. So here we are again, which is the field of your heart is the most important thing. What you want, what your intentions are. Go ahead to the next one, baby. It has been part of your energy field since you were just energy in the field, since you were an egg within the body. It is part of the code. All of these represent initiations and activations that you've already gone through. Your energy field, in order to be creating language, in order to be the being that you are, to understand and transmit and receive the language between us, has gone through these fields, the seed of life, the egg of life. You were within your mother's womb, this egg of life. You're now, many of us are now in the process of understanding the tree of life and initiating and activating within ourselves the Merkaba energy, the beautiful left brain, right brain balancing. There is just a flow, a movement. All of that is going into having us understand within ourselves. And again, all of these seeds of life, egg of life, tree of life, Metatron's cube, flower of life, and fruit of life contain the seed of life, or the one before it within it. They are just more organized, and so they can contribute. You can contribute the seed of life that is within you to everyone that encounters you. You can express the egg of life held is a bridge between your parents, the two parents that you had, the masculine and the feminine. It's also a bridge between the old, the current, and the future. It's very, very interesting. The tree of life holds multiple dimensions within it. And when you begin practicing the principles that we learn in Kabbalah, the principles in ancient Egypt, the principles of the Essenes, or even practice the written principles within many faiths and communities that initiate the golden rule, treat others as you wish to be treated, treat yourself as you would treat others. When you're in that golden rule field, the tree of life is being initiated within you. When you have that, you're living in this multi-dimensional Metatron's cube. And there's a lot that we can say about each of these. And today I want to keep moving forward. And in our next Zoom, please stay subscribed to the newsletter. please share this with your friends so that they can begin to have the initiations and the activations so that you're formulating. I love surgery. Surgery, when we were doing surgery, the motto within the surgical realm is see one, do one, teach one. But for you to be able to do surgery, you had to pass so many tests. You had to learn so much that when you were watching one with the expectation that next time it's you, your hands, your ability, when you learn to that degree, you take the information in with your whole body. See one, do one, teach one. And in the areas of your life that you feel very, very capable, to be able to see one, do one, teach one, begin doing that. And in the areas that you're learning about, begin inviting yourself to learn to such a degree that you're going to be doing it and teaching it. That science, that medicine, that surgery, they were doing this in ancient Egypt without all of the things that we're doing here. Very successful, written on the hieroglyphs, written on the walls, doing it in the energy field. If you begin experiencing all of your life, see one, do one, teach one. So take this information, or take the information that you're learning and begin sharing with others, teaching it, and really saying, listen, I'm just learning this, but can I share this with you because I believe it will help you, if you believe it will help them, or because I want to learn it better for myself. If I can explain it to you, then I've understood it. Or in order for us to create the world that we're living in, I want to invite you to just listen to me deeply as I'm sharing this. If you begin all your conversations with, let's exchange wisdom, energy, love, in order to teach, co-create that eternal life, that ability to see. The ankh is the internal life. The eye of Ra is the ability, the pineal gland, to start and begin to really affect consciousness. Ernest Holmes, with two of like mind get together. When two of like mind, when two in their feelings, in their sensations, in their smells, and in their feelings gather, when two of like mind gather, they shift consciousness. And so I'm so blessed to be being educated by a 3,200-year-old being right now, and teaching me, initiating me whenever there's time. In the real world here as well, and that's in the real world, that's in a daily, weekly practice. I'm so grateful to be able to teach that now. In a business world, I have mentors, and today I would go longer, teach more, except for I'm meant to go see one of my mentors who's speaking near LAX airport, because those with the greatest financial power right now are considered the leaders of our world. They are the ones that have this initiated, but maybe not perfected, in order for humanity to fully receive the benefit of oneness, of true freedom for them, the leaders. If a leader knew what we're sharing here, truly knew and understood what the ancient Egyptians, the ancient Indians, the ancient Sumerians, the laws of nature, they would do no harm to anyone else if our leaders knew this. And so I'm in learning this energy from a 3,200-year-old being. I'm so, so grateful that I get to share that with you. I'm learning business so that I can become more capable in the financial area, so that I can contribute more to those that are doing this work, or be the one that is fully leading. Because I understand energy, I understand the body, I understand science. I've been on the other side of the veil. This is what I'm so passionate about, bringing this wisdom, this love, this possibility to as many people. Please see one, do one, teach one. Maybe let's go to the next symbol. So this is where we saw the flower of life. And we're going to take you through, and I really want to invite you to fully participate as each of the participants in this video. We went to Abydos. Abydos in the Assyrian temple has the flower of life symbol within it. And we stood there and we again, sound, the left brain, sound in a physical space, the 3D space of this temple, with our voices in it, initiated a healing process within us in order to wake up more of our capabilities, more of our possibilities. In the energy world, all time is right now. There is no separation. To some degree, when you understand interdimensionality and how everything is organized, everything's happening right now. All of the past, all of the future, all of it. And to some degree, we are together in what is being shown in this video. If you allow your body to fully relax, you allow your senses to of like mind to get together to experience this, you are there in this ancient symbol, and this symbol, this temple, you are part of it to the maximum degree that you can be part of it. Because if you let go and let the God of your understanding, the source, the oneness, the science of your understanding, let you receive this, you might be able to see angels. You might be able to communicate with the electrical field, the electromagnetic field, electrons, matter in a new way moving forward. So relax your body. Let yourself receive what you can receive as you're watching this, and then to participate fully in the processes that call for participation. Go ahead, baby.